Hi everyone, it's Jennifer from Fiberflux. In this video, I will show you how to crochet the Celebration Scarf. For this project, you'll need 2 skeins of Lion Brand's tweed stripes. I have the label here. And the scarf shown at the beginning of this video was crocheted using the Prism colorway. We're going to use the same yarn, the same tweed stripes yarn, but in the fruity colorway, which I thought was equally as celebratory as the other scarf. It looks like confetti, and the curlicues that finish off the scarf are reminiscent of streamers, so it looks very festive. So you'll need 2 skeins of that. You'll also need a 6mm J crochet hook, a pair of scissors to finish your scarf, and a tapestry needle. The finished scarf measures about 6 inches wide and has a length of 56 inches. However, you can make yours as long or as short as you want. If you're making it for a child, obviously you'll want it to be a little bit shorter, or you can make it longer if you want to wrap the scarf around your neck a couple of times. If you do make your scarf longer, just adjust the yarn accordingly. You may need some more yarn for that. So let's begin. The scarf is made in several parts. We're going to make the main scarf body, and then we'll make the curlicues separately, and we'll be attaching those to the ends of the scarf. The scarf has 4 curlicues at each end. So let's begin. We're going to make the scarf body first, the main part of the scarf. So to make the scarf body, we're going to put a slip knot on our hook, wrap the yarn around your fingers and make a loop. Bring the yarn behind the loop, reach in with your crochet hook, pull up that loop. We're going to have a starting chain of 18. To make a chain, wrap yarn around hook and bring it through the loop. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. You want to make your starting chain fairly loose so that it doesn't draw up at the bottom. If you're having trouble keeping this loose, just go up a hook size or 2 to do your starting chain, then just switch back to the J hook. So here's our starting chain. So for row 1, we're going to work a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So this loop here does not count. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. To make a double crochet, wrap yarn around hook, insert the hook into the chain, bring up a loop, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the first 2 loops, wrap yarn around hook, bring it through the last 2 loops. Next, we're going to work a double crochet in each chain all the way across to the end of the row. And this particular yarn, if we come back to our yarn ball, has lots and lots of colors, so it looks like confetti, and same with the other colorway. Again, this is the fruity, and the other one was Prism. But it actually has it's a 2-ply yarn, and it has 2 colors twisted in each. So it goes from green to pink to blue. So as we work on this project, you'll see the color changes a little bit, and that makes it extremely fun and festive to work up this particular project. So again, we're just working double crochets all the way across to the end of the row. In this entire pattern, all you need to know is how to make a chain and how to make a double crochet. The only 2 skills involved. So we're going all the way across. Just pull some more yarn out. And already our yarn is, we began with a twist of like a peach color and blue. Now we're kind of in a blue and pink section of the skein. Okay, so here we are at the last chain. So row 1 is complete. To work row 2, we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and turn our work. And I wanted to mention this scarf body, we're going to be working in the spaces versus the stitches. So if you look closely, we're going to be working in between these posts. When we made our double crochets, they made posts, so we're going to be working in between the posts. If we were to work in the stitches, it would be in these little holes at the top. We're going to be working right into the spaces. So chain 3, turn your work, and then we're going to work a double crochet in each space all the way across. To the end of the row. Sometimes you have to separate those posts a little bit to find where they are. We'll just pull a little more yarn out of our yarn ball. There we go. So we're just working double crochets in each space all the way across. And when you work in the spaces, like this scarf versus the stitches, it kind of opens it up a little bit. You can see some decorative holes starting to happen. That adds a little bit of texture to it. So we're coming up to the end, and our yarn is starting to change colors again to a pink and green combination. Okay, all the way across. Alright, so we're at the end here, and you're also going to work a double crochet in this turning chain space as well. Okay, so row 2 is complete. So it should look kind of like that. To finish off the scarf body, or the main part of the scarf, you're going to keep repeating row 2 until your scarf is the desired length. Now keep in mind each curlicue measures, so we're going to be putting curlicues when you're finished. Obviously your scarf will be longer, but we're going to put 4 curlicues at one end of the scarf and 4 curlicues at the other end of the scarf. So when you work up the main part of the scarf, keep in mind that each curlicue is going to measure about 5 inches long at the bottom. So with curlicues at either end, on the top and bottom, this will add an additional 10 inches to the scarf. So just keep that in mind. So we're going to finish our scarf here by fastening off, and trim the yarn and fasten off. So the scarf body is complete. Again, yours will be a little longer than this, of course. So let's move on to the curlicues. We can put our scarf aside for a moment. And I'm going to show you how to make one of the curlicues, and then I'm going to show you how to attach it to the scarf. There's 2 ways you can do it, whatever way you prefer. Okay, so to make the curlicues, we're going to be making, for when you make your scarf, you'll be making 8 curlicues, which is 4 at each end. We're going to make one of the 8 right now. Okay, so we're going to put a slip knot on our hook the same way as when we made this scarf, and again we're going to chain 18. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So it should look kind of like this. And next we're going to double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. So again, this loop here does not count. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So work a double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. And then in the same chain, we're going to work 2 more double crochets. So what a curlicue essentially is you're going to be working lots of stitches in each chain. And what will happen is those stitches will start getting crowded and it'll create a twist or a bend in your work, and that will form the curlicue. So in the next chain, we're going to work 3 double crochets. That's 1, 2, and 3. And we're going to do this in each chain all the way across. So work 3 double crochets in each chain all the way across. That's 2, and that's 3. So if we stop for a moment, we can start to see our curlicue is already starting to form. So again, 3 double crochets in each chain across. So we're coming up to the end here, and again we placed 3 double crochets in each chain all the way across. So I'm at the last chain here, and our curlicue has grown considerably. Looks more like the picture shown at the beginning of this video. So now that we're finished our curlicue, we can trim the yarn and fasten off. And then we're going to leave these tails. You're going to have 2 tails at the top of your curlicue. We're going to leave these intact for the moment. And sometimes when you're making a curlicue, as you're working, it can just look kind of like a misshapen ruffle, sort of. So you may have to kind of go in there and twist it up with your hands back into the spiral shape that it should be in, okay? So next, to assemble our celebration scarf, and to finish it, we're going to weave the tails in of the scarf to begin. So with your tapestry needle, just thread the needle. You're going to come in one direction along the edge, and then you're going to come back in the other direction. That'll lock that tail into place, and that helps keep your tail from popping out. Okay, and then just give it a tug, trim with your scissors, and then we'll do the same for this tail. Just come in one direction, bring it back the other direction, trim with your scissors, and your scarf is ready. It's ready to go. Okay, so you will have made 8 of these. We've just made 1 just to show you. So you would put 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I didn't measure. If you want to measure so they're evenly spaced, you can. I just kind of eyeballed them up. But let's attach one of them to the edge here. Okay, so there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either simply take these tails, find one of these spaces here on the end, and you can just tie it right onto the scarf, and then you'll double knot it, like 3 knots I would say, and then just take these tails and weave them into the body of the scarf. If you want your scarf tails or fringe, the curlicue fringe, to be extra secure, what you'll want to do is take your tapestry needle, and you're going to take, so you have 2, if you open up your curlicue a little bit, you're going to have 2 tails. The one is going to be along the top edge of this, and the other one will be that inner chain. This is the starting chain. So you're going to take this top tail, you're going to take your tapestry needle, and we're going to sew the curlicue right onto the edge of the scarf, okay? So kind of wrap it back up if it's coming, 'cause sometimes the curlicues unravel. So just take our curlicue, and this is the edge, and you're just going to kind of sandwich those together. Go in through both layers. And again, you can do either option you want. This will get it extra secure, so those curlicues won't be falling off Okay, so just sew those right on, and it'll look kind of like that. I need to kind of twist it back up a little bit. Okay, and then you can just tie a knot, and then you'll want to weave these two ends in. So you repeat this for each curlicue, whether you tie it on or whether you sew it on. Again, it's completely up to you. So we'll get those tails, and we're going to do the same thing. Go in one direction, come back in the other direction, and then trim. You can save this yarn scrap for the bird's nest, or if you're stuffing a pillow or a toy, you want to save those scraps. I save every little tiny clipping of my yarn. And then you'll come in with the other tail, doing the same thing in one direction and in the other direction. And then you'll be finished. So let me just grab these tails. Just needs an extra little trim. There we go. Okay. So our celebration scarf is complete. Well, our sampler is anyway. Yours will obviously be bigger than this. Our celebration scarf is complete, and it has festive confetti colored yarn, and it has curlicue streamers that act like fringes along the bottom of the scarf. So that completes our project. Thank you so much for watching, and be sure and click the red subscribe button to get all the latest Fiber Flux video updates. Thanks again.